Hey guys, I have referenced this several times, but I was really impressed with this book, The Paideia Proposal by Mortimer Adler, and he taught that there are 3 objectives to education. And I thought this was really interesting because a lot of times when we look at education, we think it is job prep. That's the point of education. Or maybe you swing the total other side of it and you say it is for character development. But actually, he had 3 different things that you need to have that, it's the purpose of having an education. This is why we go to this effort. This is why we learn grammar. This is why we spend time discussing things. All of these methods that we approach learning with, they are for a specific goal. And so these are the 3 things. He says first, it is for personal growth or self-improvement. This is mental, moral, and spiritual. So in order to help people have their own, people, our children, and ourselves, in order to help our kids have their own personal growth, you need to have things like pursue their talents and figure out what they're interested in. And also, of course, expose them to ideas that they've never had before, maybe they don't even love, but it's something that they need to know exists, that they don't really care about stars, but you still need to know that they exist and what they are and what they're built of, made up of and why we can see them. There's some things that you just need to learn, whether you're interested or not. But being able to pursue your own personal interest is really important in this part of the objective of learning, is to be able to really develop into who you are as an individual. And that's just going to look different than every one of your kids. They're all going to be different, and you are personally going to be different. And allowing for those differences is really important to achieve that objective. And because he includes that you need to have moral and spiritual education as part of this objective, it is also important that you spend time in your core book. A lot of people, that's going to be the Bible or, whatever your scriptures are, but making sure that that is a part of the education that your kids are getting, because where else are they going to get that? It's just in the home. And so making sure that that is taking place in the home is really important. So the second goal and objective of having an education is to be an educated voter and to promote freedom. This, we don't think about this very much. I don't think about this very much. I don't consider that education is an important aspect of being an informed citizen, so that when it comes time to go to the voter box, you not only know who's running, and you not only know, well, that guy gives me warm fuzzies and that one doesn't so much, but you're able to really delve down and say, this person is living principles of freedom, and that person is not. And that is why I'm going to vote for this person, whether I don't like them or I do like them. They're actually living in such a way and voting in such a way that is in line with what I believe to be good and true. You're not going to even know what is good and true if you're not learning about all of those things. Now, as a part of that, you want to have, information about government. This is the federal government, this is the state government, this is the local government, these are the different offices in the government, this is how people get elected, this is how old you have to be. Facts and information. It's important, and they do need to be taught, but I think more important than that is understanding these principles of freedom, understanding that you should do as much as possible for yourself, having that self-government, that self-reliance, that ability to take care of yourself, and then helping other people. And then if you get to the point where you can't do it, and your immediate neighbors can't do it, then you go to the city government and you say, well, this road, that's beyond me. I can't make a road in the city, but the city can make a road. So you're always having that smallest piece of government, or whether that's yourself individually or your family or your neighborhood or your city, whatever the smallest unit is that can accomplish something should accomplish that thing. You don't want to call on the federal government because you need the road in front of your house paved. That doesn't make sense. And that is a principle of freedom. And understanding that principle, really, you're able to look at people's voting and say, how do they vote? Are they always looking for the biggest dog to be able to take care of everything? Then that is going against a principle of freedom. And recognizing that will help you be able to make that decision in the voting box. So that is the second point of education, is to be able to have an informed populace so that they can make really good decisions. And not always the decisions that I would make. I'm not always of the same political persuasion or even liking the same person, but from a principled, moral backdrop that they're able to say, I'm making this decision based on truth and not just based on my emotions or their campaign. I'm making it based on things that actually matter when it comes to promoting freedom. And the last point of an education is, I think it's very comforting to a lot of the dads out there, is that you need to be able to provide a living for yourself as you grow older. This is something that is such a huge focus in most educational systems, is that we're trying to job train you, we're trying to get you to the point where you're employable. I don't know that that's necessarily my goal. I want them to be able to make a living, and if being an employee is the way to do that, then that's fine. But if they want to be an entrepreneur, that's fine. If they want to, work it in some other way that I haven't considered before, it, that's fine. But the point is, you're going to have to provide for yourself and for your family. And that is a really important aspect of education. And so if you are trying to become an entrepreneur, then you're going to have to try some entrepreneurial things before you're out there actually trying it out. You know, it's easier to do in the house if you fail, it's not that big of a deal. You still have a house, you still have food, you know, your parents are still providing clothing. It's easier to try it when you're young before you get out on your own and have all of that weight put on you. And so that training is really important so that you're going to be able to provide for your family, whether you do that as an employee or as an employer or as, you know, just kind of an independent person who just, you know, an independent contractor. However you choose to do it, education is key to being able to provide for yourself and for your family. And that is something that gets a lot of emphasis. And as a result, sometimes in homeschooling, it gets de-emphasized. We have a tendency to say, oh, that's the way they do it. We don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on, you know, the moral underpinnings of your education and that's great. Of course, we should have that. But I'm just saying, everybody's going to have to make a living. And so we want to be able to not only have those higher virtuous goals in homeschooling, we also want to be able to say, and at the end of this, you're going to be able to make a lot of money to be able to provide for not only your family, but be able to help other people as well. And so that is an important part of education. And we want to be able to give them the education that will accomplish that. And of course, that includes things like reading, writing, math, computer literacy, and all the soft skills, all the people skills, and then also, you know, that ingenuity and that problem-solving ability and that excitement and encouragement to just go out there and try new things. All of those skills they learn as a part of their education. And so that is really important that we recognize. However we accomplish that, you know, maybe we use unit studies, maybe we go on field trips, maybe they start their own business, maybe they intern. However you're going to use it, know that that is a part, that is an objective of education. And I think that that really helps people calm down. Like I said, especially dads, that we're not just trying to all be philosophers and rebels at heart trying to do it differently than the public school. We do want our kids to be able to graduate here having an excellent capability to make a great living for themselves and to even have extra so that they can reach out and help other people. And that is all, you know, it's the skills, but it's also the practicing, really succeeding when it comes to earning money and managing money as they get older. So those are the three things that Mortimer Adler says are the point of education. So I'll go over them one more time. He says personal growth or self-improvement, be an educated voter to promote freedom, and have the ability to earn a living. And these are all really important, and I think they kind of automatically happen. And you can see how we are succeeding in these three areas that are really important parts of having an education. So I'm not saying this to try to make you feel guilty or try to restructure your education in any way. I'm sure the way that you're doing is absolutely fabulous, but it is helpful to see that these things are being accomplished and you know, our society is stronger, our economy is stronger, and our children are stronger as individuals as they continue to get this kind of an education. You are doing a fabulous job at, you know, everything that you're working on is so important. Being a mom, being a dad is so important. It is just so impactful to everybody that you come in contact with, and you are doing a much better job than you think you are. Keep it up, and I'll see you on the next one.